Hi everyone! Today's video is an unboxing and component overview of Origin's First Builders by Board & Dice. I will go through everything that's in the box. I have taken a peek inside and I know pretty much how the game plays, so hopefully I will help you understand how each component works and the quality of them. Starting with the box, it's a pretty standard sized box for Board & Dice, as you can see here, so let's open it right away. We have some extra baggies here, I'll take them out, and a bunch of components. But I always like to start with the rulebook. You can see here that it's a pretty thick rulebook. It has, I think, 27 pages total. Of course, here at the back it has the appendices and the explanations about the various cards and components. And it has a solo mode, of course. And then the rest of it, it's the rules. It has a lot of examples and components, some story. That's the rulebook. Now, as far as the components go, first off, we have the 4-player colors with a bunch of components for them. I'll open them and be right back. There we go. That's everything we have in a single player color. First off, we have 6 bases for dice. They're called population bases. The dice are used as workers and you have to fit them inside a base to be able to use them and mark that they are yours. Then we have the Archon. That is a worker that's, I think, a bit more advanced than the dice themselves, and the 5 discs that are for the various tracks, including the victory point track. Another player color, we have brown, black, and blue. Next up, we have a bunch of dice. They come in 5 different colors plus the white dice. There we go, a bunch of them. Standard quality. And they match the 5 colors of the different buildings, which we'll see later on, and the 5 colors of the motherships that we will see very soon. 4 white dice. These are also worker dice, but they work a bit different than the other dice. Then we have the motherships. There is 5 of them in 5 different colors. And those, as you can see here, they have the number of pips of the dice. They are placed in action spaces, and if you match the color of the die you are using with the mothership, you get an extra bonus action. They all start at number 1 at the beginning and they get rotated throughout the game every time a die is placed on the corresponding action space. And if the die you're using has a higher value than the value that is showing on the mothership, you have to pay a resource to be able to go there. Next up, we have a bunch of discs that match the building colors and the die colors and the mothership colors. And these are taken by the players throughout the game. They create little towers in your building area and help you score a lot of points at the end of the game. Next up, we have a bunch of cards. The first type of cards here are the Zodiac cards. They all have the same back, and at the front we find the 12 Zodiac signs. These are placed at the top of 3 tracks that the main board has. 3 of them are randomly picked at the beginning of each game, and then, depending on the movement on the tracks, who is first, who is taking certain actions, they can be taken by players and provide powerful effects. Next up, we have the district cards. There's a bunch of them, as you can see here, a whole deck with the same back. Only a few of them are picked for each game. I think it's up to 6 of them for a 4-player game, even less in other player counts. The towers here at the top provide discs, as I showed you earlier, that will be taken within the game. And then the patterns down here are the patterns that the players need to recreate in their building areas to take some extra points. Finally, we have the 4-player aid cards. In the front, you can see the various actions a player can take, and at the back, they have the pass word, because during a round, a player can take as many turns as they can before they either have or choose to pass. As soon as every player passes, the round ends and the game moves on. Then we have the main board here. I'll take it out and open it, and I'll be right back. There we go. I zoomed out a bit and almost all of it can fit in the screen now. It only has one side, regardless of the number of players. It has a victory track around the board. This is the space where the discs are placed in the corresponding color so that players can take them and use them in their own building areas. Up here we have the action spaces. The motherships are randomly placed underneath each action space at the beginning of the game. I don't know if you can see this, but there are little holes here for the mothership to fit inside the little hole. So it clicks in place and you can rotate it throughout the game without it falling off or sliding away. They are randomly placed at the beginning of each game, so you don't know which color is going to be where. and which action is going to match with each color. There are some colored bonus tiles that are placed in these spaces that match the color of the mothership, so that they get activated if you go there with a matching colored dice. Down here we have the 3 Zodiac tracks. As I said earlier, 3 cards are randomly chosen at the beginning of each game, and they're placed here so players can take them and use them throughout the game. This is where dice are placed so that players can purchase them and use them throughout the game. This is for the white dice, and these are for the colored dice. Then we have another track here. It's the military track, and players start from here and can move on to gain points, benefits, and also fight for the initiative order of the next round. Finally, here we have spaces for the various buildings, which we will see right away as soon as I take out the punch boards. Back to the box, the final thing we have to see are the punch boards, and we start with a bunch of buildings here of various colors and other tokens, including resource tokens at the end. So I will punch them out and be right back to show you what they include. Okay, I've taken everything out, so let's start with the basics. First off, we have resources in 1s and 5s. This is wisdom. Food with the symbol of the wheat. Stone. And finally, gold. Gold is a wild resource. It can be used in place of any other of the resources, but it also gives points at the end of the game. Next up, we have the bulwark marker. This is the first player marker. The bonus action tiles that I mentioned earlier, these are placed in the action spaces that match the mothership color and can be taken if the die color matches the color of the mothership. 12 zodiac tiles that match the 12 zodiac signs and are placed at the top of the tracks to remind you of which track corresponds to each zodiac sign. 20 superiority tokens. These can be acquired by players and can be used to take an extra action during your turn. The 100 and 200 point tokens for each player. And then we have the interesting stuff, which is the building tiles. First we have the agora tiles. It's 1 tile for each player because those are used during setup. And similarly we have the palace tiles. This is where the discs of each color are placed to build the little towers that will score you points at the end of the game. And then we have the buildings of each color. There are 15 buildings in each color, and I'm pretty sure I saw duplicates here, so they are not completely unique, but they do have some variety. The color matters for creating the patterns on the cards that I showed you earlier, and I'm not sure if the color also makes a difference on the effect that each building has when it gets activated. If they are somehow similar, if they belong in the same color. Red ones. Buildings cost stone to build, but there is also a wisdom cost that is printed on the main board. So usually you have to pay stone and wisdom in order to build a building. All of the buildings on their backside show a farm. A farm is free to build, but it doesn't do anything. It is important though for creating the patterns on the cards, so sometimes it may be beneficial to build a farm instead of an actual building because it's free. And finally we have the 4 player boards. They each have the same features but different artwork for the character, as you can see here. These are spaces for the extra die bases that you can get throughout the game. Each player starts with 2 and then you can acquire more if you pay for them. And these are spaces for dice that retire throughout the game. There is a mechanism that increases the value of a die every time you pass, I think, and that indicates the citizen getting older. And once they are old enough, they retire and they can do various things. But one of them is to place them here and gain points at the end of the game for different colors that you place here. And that also improves the function of your Archon figure. In any case, that was all that was in the box of Origins First Builders, and I hope you found the video useful. If you did, leave a thumbs up before you go and subscribe for more videos like this. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye.